What is up, nerds? In today's video, I am going to be going over how I like to take down the boss Phantom Muspah. I will be showing you the Bowfa only method, which to me is by far the best way to kill Muspah unless you have max or nearly max mage and a shadow. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel to get all my future videos and guides. Also, this is your last chance to enter into the Bond or GP giveaway I have going on for reaching over 500 subs, so stay tuned to the end of the video to learn how you can have a chance to win. But with that being said, let's dive right into the video. Requirements. The only real requirement to take on Phantom Muspah is to have the quest Secrets of the North completed. It is highly recommended to have around 85 range, especially if doing the Bowfa only method. Having 75 plus defense will also help tremendously, as well as having 74 prayer for rigor, or at least having the Deadeye prayer from the Royal Titans will help you speed up kills tremendously. Obviously in this scenario, I am using the Bowfa only method, so having full crystal with a Bowfa is highly recommended. If you don't have full crystal in Bowfa, you may be better off bringing a switch to mage as well to use against Muspah during his melee phases. And lastly, it is highly recommended to have access to the Arceus spellbook to use thralls as well as the Greater Corruption spell, but do note the Greater Corruption spell requires 85 magic to cast. These aren't 100% necessary, but definitely will help you out a lot throughout your kills. Gear and inventory. As far as gear and inventory goes, here's what I like to do when doing KCs for Phantom Muspah. I like to use full crystal, of course, with a Bowfa, Ava's Assembler, a Necklace of Anguish, some Sapphire Dragon Bolts E. If you don't have Dragon Bolts, Rune Bolts will work, but Dragon Bolts are obviously the best you can use. I use a Light Bearer. If you don't have this, you can use something like a Ring of Suffering or an Archer's Ring. I also like to use Pegassian boots. Any God D-hide boots will be fine if you don't have Pegassians. And some Barrow's gloves. And for our inventory, an Armadillo crossbow. While not necessarily 100% necessary, this is going to help you tremendously in a certain area of the fight. I use a twisted buckler. You really don't need this. I just got this from Chambers, so I want to use it, to be honest. You can change this with a prayer pot. I use 5 prayer pots, a divine ranging pot, 4 karambwans. I fill out the rest with anglers. You can obviously use any food. A Book of the Dead for thralls, a divine rune pouch with some cosmics, fires, bloods, and soul runes to cast thralls as well as greater corruption. And lastly, I use a construction cape for my telly out. You can of course use any telly tabs or whatever other method you would like to use for a telly. And for our quick prayers, I just like to use protect from range and rigor. You could also use protect from melee and rigor. It's up to you. How to get there? There are a few quick ways to get to Muspah. The quickest is using the Ring of Shadows telly to the Gorok dungeon. If you don't have that telly like me, the next fastest is using the White's teleport. In this case, I have a White's teleport portal in my house. And then run east over the shortcut, and then through the broken fence, and climb down the steps. Once down the steps, run south to the cave entrance, then run south, then east to get to the entrance of Muspah's lair. The mechanics. Muspah's mechanics are fairly simple and straightforward, but he does have a few of them, so let's go over them quickly. Muspah can use all 3 combat styles. When Muspah is in the color brown, he will use melee and melee only. When Muspah turns a bluish color, he will use range. Occasionally, he will use a magic attack during this form, and it is signified by him standing up and charging this purple orb to shoot at you. Simply switch to protect from magic when you see this to prevent taking any damage. If you don't pray correctly, Muspah can hit you for up to a 72 and will also cause you to be corrupted momentarily. Corruption just drains your prayer points quicker. When Muspah is in the melee phase, we will be utilizing the step back method. Essentially, every time he attacks with melee, wait for the hit splat to disappear and then move 2 tiles back. Repeat the process until he switches to his range form. Muspah also uses 2 special attacks. One will come up at 75% health while the other happens at 50% health. One special attack is the Cloud attack, which is essentially the same as the Akka Bubble attack in TOA. To avoid this attack, there is a certain square you can stand in where no cloud will ever hit you as long as you're in that square. The second special attack is a spike attack, where Muspah spawns some spikes that will follow you. Simply keep moving away from these spikes to avoid damage. They will last for about 20 seconds and then will just become normal spikes in the room. When Muspah is under 137 health, he will go into his shielded phase. He will tele to the middle of the room and charge up and let out a huge explosion. Simply stand behind some spikes to avoid this attack. He will then have his shield up and you must take it down before being able to finish off the fight. To drain his shield, use your Sapphire Bolt's E as well as Smite to disable his shield as quickly as possible. This sometimes can take a little bit. It honestly just depends on if your bolts proc or not. That's why having the armor crossbow is a big help here. Now that you know Muspah's mechanics, let's go over our live KC. Live KC. Once you are at the entrance, drink a dose of Divine Ranging Potion and head into the lair. He will either start off in his brown or blue form. Summon a thrall, pray against whatever form he spawns in as, and start attacking. In this case, Muspah started with blue, aka range and mage, so we protect from range. Once he switches to his brown form, aka melee, let him attack you once. Once you see the hit splat disappear, move 2 tiles back, let him hit again, wait for the hit splat to disappear, and rinse and repeat until either a special attack comes out or he switches forms again. Now he is going to do his first special attack, which will be the cloud attack in this instance. We run over to the tile I have marked and try and right click or left click attack while he is jumping from spot to spot. Your character will still be able to attack while he is hopping around, and this is essentially free DPS. Once he is done, he will spawn at the corner of the room. Pray against whatever he spawns into. In my case, it was range. I got a couple attacks in and then he switched, so I switched to melee. Now we are on to his second special attack, where he spawns the spikes. Again, just simply dodge these spikes, keep moving, and keep switching prayers as needed. You can see as he's in his range form now, he's using some magic attacks. Just be careful, as sometimes he likes to do this little triple magic attack. Now that he's back into his melee form, we're just going to keep moving 2 tiles back when he attacks, and also be aware of these spikes that are following us, and make sure we don't run into those at all. One thing to keep in mind during his melee phases is that if you have to kind of run across him or the corners of his space, you may need to move a few extra tiles to not get hit by his melee attacks. If you happen to get hit by one of his melee attacks, just move 4 to 6 tiles away and this should kind of reset the method. Now that we got him down under 137 health, his shielded phase is going to start. As I mentioned earlier, it is signified by him teleporting to the middle of the room and charging up a huge explosion. Stand behind the spikes to avoid this attack. Now that he is in his shielded phase, we want to cast Greater Corruption if you can use it. Every time we attack, we want to have Smite on, as this will help us with draining his shield. I like to click the ground after every attack. Usually with the Armor Seabow, I can get 3 attacks in before having to skip an attack due to Muspah and me attacking at the same tick. This is only true if he doesn't use any of his magic attacks. Sometimes this can take a while, sometimes you get lucky and proc 2 shots right in the beginning. Once his shield is down, he will spawn some spikes, move a couple squares to avoid this, and attack with Protect from range on. This last part is simple. Just attack and move when spikes are being spawned, and boom! Just like that, you got your first of many Muspah kills to come. Well nerds, that's all I got for you today. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel to get all my future videos and guides. And don't forget, this is your last chance to join in on the Bond or GP equivalent giveaway. Simply like this video, be subscribed to the channel, and leave a comment on what your favorite boss is. I will be choosing and revealing the winner in my next video, so stay tuned for that. But I wish you all the best of luck grinding for them Venny shards and who knows, maybe even a pet. But until next time, nerds, peace!